Hey guys, Jen here from Nails by Jen. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome to my channel. So in today's video, I am going to show you a couple of things. So I'm going to show you how to encapsulate gold foil or foil in general into acrylic. So if you notice, the one on the left is quite a bit smoother and the one on the right has a lot of texture. So the one on the right is the one that I wanted to focus on, but I did want to show you the difference in application of acrylic and how the foil will turn out. And I'm also going to show you how I hand paint my leopard print and my zebra print. So if this is something you're interested in, stick around guys. As always, don't forget to click that like and subscribe for me. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below, and let's get started. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you two different color palettes, one being a darker one and one being a lighter one. So for the first one, you're going to need some type of a dark plum or a dark maroon colored acrylic. This is just a custom mix one that I made myself. And to go along with that, we are also going to need a glitter. I have this really pretty one from Glitter Boutique Canada. And as you can see, it's gorgeous. There are all kinds of colors in here. So there's some matte ones as well, some matte hexagon shapes. There's some holographic, some fuchsia, rose gold, blush pink. There's all kinds in that similar tone. So I thought this would look really, really nice with this. And of course, I've got glitter everywhere now. And a little bit of gold foiling. So this gold foiling that I'm using is more of a champagne gold as opposed to a yellow gold. So those are the three that I chose for that color palette. And the next one, you're going to need some type of an opaque peach or pink. This is again a custom mixed one. It's more on the pink side. It's more on the blush pink side than it is peach. So I've got that. And to go along with that, I've got this glitter here from Glitter Mix Canada. And it's just a holographic rose pink color. It's got the hexagon shape, several different sizes from the micro or the tiny glitter to larger size glitters, as you can see. So again, I thought this would go really perfect with this color here. And then for the foil, I'm actually going to use a rose gold foil. And those are the basics for the color part of the nail. And then of course you are going to need some type of a clear acrylic. I've just got the one here from Young Nails. I've got Speed Clear and your trusty acrylic brush, whichever you use. My favorite currently, and has been probably, I think it's been at least a year that I've been using this. It's rubbed off because I've used it so much. It's called the big one from JOHENS. I got this at the Pink Chair in Saskatoon. And then of course, whatever top coat you're using, I still am loving the Young Nails stain resistant, so that's the one I'm going to use. So I believe that is all for product. All right guys, we're going to start with the darker color first, so this plummy purpley color that I custom mixed. Now when you are working on a client, you are going to want to start off by putting a thin clear layer down as a barrier between the natural nail and the color, because when you're working with dark pigmented colors or even bright pigmented, anything with a lot of pigment in it, if you put it directly onto the natural nail, then when you go to do a fill, you have to file into the natural nail to get that color out, and we obviously don't want to do that. So just put a thin layer of clear or something like a natural color just in between the natural nail and the pigmented color. And then we're going to start applying the color. So we just want to create a thin, solid color as the base. So I'm going to go in and just start applying my color. And for this design, you want it to be opaque. We don't want really any shadowing. We do want it to be a nice, solid color all the way through and all the way covering the nail. So keep applying your color until you have the opaqueness that you want. Now, of course, when we're working on long nails like this, you have a little leeway to make the nail a little bit thicker. If you're working with smaller nails, you have to be very, very careful not to put the product on super thick so that you don't end up with big chiclet nails. So the way to do that is make sure that the colors that you're working with are very pigmented so that you can do a thin layer. So obviously with this one, I don't have to be as careful because it's so long. Now again, I always like to mention when we're working on tips like this, you can see I'm being a little bit more sloppier. I'm, wiping along the sides. We can do that when we're working on tips. You cannot do that constantly when you're working on clients. You do not want to be using too wet of a bead and then getting the product all over the client's skin because, as we know, that can cause some issues. Allergy-wise, we can cause contact dermatitis. I see videos all the time where people are constantly wiping the client's skin with their monomer-filled brush, and it's just a no-go. So now you do want to work a little bit quickly here because you want that acrylic to be fairly wet. So I'm just going to actually cut this into a little bit smaller of a piece. It's a little wide for what I'm looking for. And I'm just going to apply it on an angle. And you want to press it in slightly. Now you can see right there that acrylic is still quite wet. That's what we want. We want it to be wet. We want to get it in the product. Now you don't want to press so hard that you're squishing the product out all over the client's hand and skin, obviously, but you do want to get it in there. And then we literally just have to wait for it to harden. We have to wait for the acrylic to completely harden. We'll do like a little tap test and listen for that tapping sound that we all are familiar with that lets us know that the product is completely cured. Okay, so once it is cured, you're just doing the little tap test here to make sure everything is cured. Then you just pull off your foil to reveal what is there. So as you can see, this one covered quite well. Now I actually kind of prefer when they don't cover as well and they sort of have little bits of pieces missing or holes, but you know what, this one covered good, so we're just going to leave it like that. So now I'm going to grab my clear acrylic and I am going to start applying some glitter. So I am going to apply a wet bead of acrylic here and just tap in some of these glitters just along the edge because I don't want that sharp edge of the foil to be showing. So I'm just going to grab some and cover up that little area. So then what you're going to do is you want to let that harden a little bit just so that those glitters don't move around on you like that one just did when you are capping in clear. So I'm just going to let that harden for a second and then I'm going to cap this in clear.
So with this first nail, I simply capped in clear acrylic like I would normally do on a lot of my encapsulated nails, and what you will see is there's a very, very small amount of texture that happens on the foil. It's the next design that I show you how to use monomer to create that really cool texture, but this is a great way to encapsulate foils if you don't like to add them on top underneath top coat.
Okay, so for this one we are going to use, like I said, a custom mixed semi-transparent blush color. So again, we're going to lay that down. Now with this color, you really wouldn't need to put a thin clear layer because this is such a semi-transparent that once you get down to that thin layer, like if you put this on really thin, it is nearly barely looking like it's there anyways. So this one is fine to just put directly onto the natural nail. And again, I'm just feathering that product down and we're just going to completely cover the whole nail with this color. Now this one, it's okay if it's a little bit transparent because we're kind of going for that soft, sort of natural, blushy look anyways on the nail. now again, you want to take your foil, and I'm just going to press it at a little bit more of a sideways angle. So rather than having it a little more horizontal, I'm going a little bit more vertical, and I'm just going to let it naturally kind of fall in there. And there we go. Now we just have to let this cure. Okay, so again, just going in with the tap test. It seems like it might not be completely cured on this side, but you know what? If it doesn't completely cover, I will be happy with that. So I am going to remove, oh yeah, it's still stuck. It's fine. So now what you will see is where the product was really quite wet, that's where you get that little sort of texturing, which we really, really want. So I am going to actually go in with just my monomer on my brush. And I'm just going to go over a little bit onto the foil and wet that foil. And you'll notice it starts sort of creating that texture. And that's what we're looking for. So on the other one, I did not do it because I wanted to show you the difference between the two. The other one you're going to see has way less texture. It's a little more solid, but that's what we want. We want that cool texture to happen, and that's, you just get that from the monomer. So now we're going to go in and add some of our glitter again to cover up sort of that harsh edge. And again, I really do like when the foil does not cover completely. On these tips, it just happens to lay so perfectly because they're so big. I do have a smaller tip that I actually was playing around with the other day on my Instagram story, and I'll show you how it didn't cover like completely. Well, it's kind of hard to see on there also because of the glitter, but I kind of like it when there's just like pieces missing. So like if there was a big chunk missing out of the middle, I would actually like that and prefer that. So we're going to go in and just add our glitter wherever we want it. To let these glitters harden a little bit into that acrylic, and then I'm going to cap it in clear. All right, you guys, so I have finished filed the darker colored one, and I just want to show you what I mean when I say little bits of texture. So I don't know if you can see here, you see how there's little bits of texture, but then throughout the nail there's just slight texture on this one. It's not too crazy. That's because we did not wet the foil with the monomer first. I just applied a wet bead of acrylic, so depending on how much texture you want, this looks pretty darn cool. All right, so the glitters are hardened, or the acrylic with the glitter has hardened enough that I can now go ahead and cap in clear. So that's all I have to do, and then I'm going to file and shape this and show you how cool that texture looks. Okay, you guys, so here they both are. Now you can already see, even without the top coat, the difference in how much more texture there is on the rose gold one that we swiped with the monomer before applying the acrylic to cap it in clear. This one is way smoother, there's way less texture. This one has way more texture, and the texture is so cool. Just wait until you see me put the top coat on. So now I'm going to also do some nail art. So I get asked quite often if I stamp my leopard and zebra print, and I do not. I have always hand painted it. I actually prefer to hand paint my leopard and zebra print. So today I'm going to show you how I do my leopard and zebra. So I have a couple of brushes. Now I have used so many different brushes over the years, and to be honest, I have been able to make them all work. But I love these two. So I did a haul video quite some time ago. This one has just a little bit of obviously gel or something in it I have to clean off, but I used these ones recently. I've been using them and I absolutely love them. So I got these off of eBay. I did do them or show them in a haul video that I did quite some time ago. I had several brushes. I think I had 3 different packs of, so each pack came with 3, and I had 3 packs of different types of brushes, and so far I'm loving these ones. There's another one that's longer. So I will be using the medium size one for the zebra, and I'll be using the short one for the leopard. So I'm just going to get this one cleaned up here and get the gel out of it. So there we go, she's cleaned up. So I'm going to start off by doing the leopard print, and I'm going to do the leopard on this guy here. So again, I have mentioned in my previous videos that I really do like using acrylic paints for nail art. Now the only thing that you have to keep in mind when you're using acrylic paints, my hands are all dusty, sorry from filing, is that you have to make sure not to put it too close to the edge if you're doing a solid image. So for example, if I wanted to paint a circle and I was going to do a half circle and put the acrylic paint all the way to the edge and color in this whole area here, you would have a lot more chance of chipping because of the acrylic paint going to the edge and being such a larger image. Now I don't ever have an issue with leopard print or zebra print. I do my floral prints a lot of times with this and I don't have an issue. So I am going to just squirt some of this black paint out onto the tile. You really don't need too much. And I've just got a little dish over here with some water. So if your acrylic paint is too thick, I just tend to take my end of my brush, which is why it's kind of all got a little bit of paint on it. I'll just dip it in the water and it just kind of collects enough of a droplet that you just then dip it in and mix it in. So I will mix just a small amount because this acrylic paint, this black is actually quite a good consistency. It's not overly thick, so I really don't even need to add much or any at all to that. So how I do my leopard print is I actually do a dotting motion. So I don't draw the C's and the colons or semicolons. I actually dot them in that shape. So I will pick up my brush full of acrylic paint, and you could do this with gel polish, gel paint as well. So as you can see, I've got quite a good bobble on the end. And what I mean by bobble is I mean you've got like a big sort of like bobble of color on the end of the nail. So it's quite full. And then I will show you actually on this palette first. So you just go up and down and just kind of create little C's, very irregular. I'm just doing it larger so that you guys can see kind of on the palette. And you can do them sort of more ovally, you can do them more round. And the reason I like to do the dotting method is because as you can see, you kind of miss little spots here and there. And you get these sort of irregular, instead of doing round like this and like this, and like this and like this, which looks totally fine as well. Like there's nothing wrong with that pattern. I just prefer this. I find it looks more realistic. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to apply some of my leopard print or cheetah print over here and also over here. So again, I rest my pinky. All the time when I'm doing hand painting, I always rest it on my finger that's holding the client's hand just to give me an anchor. And then I just go up and down, tapping, 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 creating those little. And then you also want to go in and fill in certain areas like here with, again, just like little shapes, little dots. Again, tapping up and down, so they just fill in the area. So I do that sort of as I go. Again, here's one solid little bit. And you just want to continue tapping up and down. And so you're holding your brush almost, I just got paint on me. zebras, so you're holding your brush almost straight up and down. You're just at a little bit of an angle and tapping with the tip of that brush. So I am going to, I think, leave it just like that. So I've kind of got it going in a bit of a gradient. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger over here and just create more of a, so I want it to go kind of at a triangular sort of shape. And that's what's great about these little tiny dots, is that you can then go in and kind of make more of a shape. And I'm going to add a few more up at the top here. And then I'm just going to add a few on this side over here. So again, you want to anchor your finger, find wherever is comfortable for you to anchor your pinky, and do that dotting motion. And I'm going to angle this one a little bit in the opposite direction. So getting larger at the bottom. Just like so. So hopefully the camera is picking that up. And of course, once you top coat, that's when everything comes to life. We know the infamous top coat porn, one of the best things in the nail world. All right, so that I'm going to let dry. So again, with the acrylic paints, you do have to have a little bit of time to let the acrylic paint dry in between, whereas if you use gel or any kind of gel polish or gel paint, you would obviously cure that and it would be ready to go. So now I'm going to switch my brush. I'm going to go into the medium length one. Now, again, we want to fill our brush quite well. And the motion that we use for zebra print is you push, you drag, and as you drag, you lift your brush till you come to a little point. Again, you push, you drag, you kind of wiggle a little, and you just come to a point. So this is where it's really good to have a brush that comes to a nice point. Now, even if you don't, I have worked with some of my brushes where, you know, they have just been used and abused, and they are crappy little brushes, but it was what I had at the time, and I was still able to make it work. But obviously, if you have a good brush that comes to a nice little point, it's a lot easier and quicker. So now I'm going to do my zebra print going at this angle, sort of with the same angle of the foil and the glitter. So I'm going to start at the top area. So again, we want to press and then pull and drag and wiggle a little bit and come to a point. And then we're going to do the same on the other side, going in the opposite direction, like so. And I also like to do them in the middle. So we start in the middle by pushing and dragging and pulling outward. And then going in the opposite direction, same spot, starting in that same spot, dragging outward. And then you can do some where you are connecting, so this way, and then connect them at the starting point and drag it down like so. And then you want to do one in the middle of that, dragging just like so, and just continue on filling that area. Now I think I might do one more just like that and like that. And again, I'm going to add a few little ones just down here to kind of tie it all together, just little ones. Just like that. All right, so now I just have to let this dry, and then I'm going to top coat them for you. All right, so the leopard print has completely dried, and if you're unsure, you can always just kind of tap slightly, and if you see any transfer obviously on your skin, just means it's not quite dry yet. Now you will notice that I do love the Young Nails stain resistant top coat. This is my #1 favorite. I use this on all of my clients, but I do not like to waste it in videos when I'm doing tutorials. So the lid of the handle of the brush that I'm going to use will look slightly different because it's an old one that I don't use on clients anymore, and so I'm just utilizing that in my videos. So let's do the beautiful reveal. So we're going to go in and show you how pretty this looks. Oops, I just dripped top coat. It is so, so pretty. I love the leopard with this color. I was unsure if you'd really see it that much, but it looks pretty amazing. I don't know why it won't focus. There we go. Pretty awesome, you guys. Now, I would always do 2 coats of top coat over any acrylic paints, again, just to prevent any chipping issues. But with this, I don't need to because it's not going to be worn on a client or anything like that. So I'm going to stick that in the light and go on to the zebra one. All right, now this is my favorite. I cannot wait for you guys to see how beautiful that texture is. So let's get some top coat on there. It almost looks like some type of a lizard or alligator skin or something like that. It is just so freaking cool, you guys. Look at that. Is that not the coolest? It's like, oh, I don't even know. I'm just obsessed with it. I absolutely love the texture. I love the glitter. I love the addition of the zebra. Like, this is a very cool nail. So I'm gonna cure this one as well. All right, so while those ones are curing, I just wanted to show you, this is the one that I was doing on my Instagram the other day. I was kind of playing around for a second. I just had a thought in my mind to apply foil to acrylic and encapsulate it and see what would happen. And this is how this design and this sort of pattern or idea came to fruition. I was just playing around. So this was the little one that I did, and it looks really cool too. Like, that fuchsia color is pretty amazing. If I could get it to focus, there we go. Again, you can see all the texture. Now this one, it was a lot more jaggedy on the edge, but I covered it obviously with the glitter. So another color combination that looks pretty amazing.
All right, guys, thanks again for hanging out with me today and watching another one of my little tutorials. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed learning this technique. I absolutely love how the textured one turned out. I will be definitely using this on clients in the near future. And I would love to know if anyone else has tried this technique before, if this is something that is already out there on the market. I have not seen it done before, so I'm hoping that I'm kind of the first one and I am teaching you something you never saw before. So don't forget to leave any comments you have below, and as always, guys, have an amazing day.